your role in the school?
I'm associate principal, so 2IC basically, second in charge. So,
do you teach any classes or anything? Or
I teach a variety of all sorts of things depending on where the need is in the timetable. I'm a phys ed teacher, but I teach maths, teach digital stuff, teach a bit of English. Yeah.
Sweet. What do you think the pros and cons are of the iPads?
Well, the iPad was a correct decision to make when we made the decision in 2011. Every other device was behind at that stage. Most devices have sort of caught up now, but to the level of the iPad, so we're still continuing to recommend an iPad.
Okay.
The biggest advantage over anything else, except the other tablets now, is battery life.
Oh, yep. What do you think the pros and cons would be of the new room? Like, what would be good side and bad side?
What, to put new furniture and things in a room?
Do you think it'd be a good idea or a bad idea?
It's a great idea, because I think we've got to move away from desks and the teacher at the front of the room. I think we've got to give students a variety to be where they want, and I think what changing the furniture will do is get the teacher away from the whiteboard and away from the lecturing mode, more to a teaching mode. More so, I'm not too worried about the students. The students are pretty flexible anyway. To give them something comforting, if we have the room set up in a way that the teachers naturally get amongst the students rather than stand and lecture from the front, that would be good as far as I'm concerned.
What would you pick, which option do you think is most suitable?
Which option is most suitable in what terms? In iPads or netbooks or whatever?
How do I put this? What option do you think is the best for teachers and why?
Option of what?
Option of the choice between 20 iPads or 20 laptops, or having...
Oh, sorry, well, I personally, I think we're moving down that field, and we made the decision that students should bring their own device, so I see no advantage in the school buying either laptops or iPads. All that adds is a layer of keeping them charged, keeping them up to date, keeping everything up to date, so it adds a layer of bureaucracy, because students do that themselves. Also, when you look at overseas programs and other programs around New Zealand where it's been not bring your own device, it's been a school supplied device, the amount of breakages and damage is huge. Students don't respect the equipment as much as they respect their own when they've paid for it. So I'm still would be going down the BYOD for students, and therefore my favourite option would be to modify the room with an aim of getting teachers to change their pedagogy, because I think that's their pedagogy, the way they teach, because I think that'll be more advantageous to students than them having a device.
What do you think is easier to implement? What option do you think is easier to implement?
The easiest one is the well, they're all easy. I mean, it's easy to go down and buy 20 iPads or 20 netbooks. Maintaining them becomes a little bit harder than maintaining furniture, but furniture gets broken and damaged too. So I don't think there's a real one's easier than the other. They're all very easy. It's just deciding where you want to go.
What if kids cannot afford their own iPads? Anything?
Well, our experience to date is that they can, and they do, particularly in our socio-economic area. We do have some netbooks, 30 netbooks in the library, which students borrow if they can. Mostly they borrow those because they've broken their device and it's getting replaced or fixed. You know, I grew up in a very low socio-economic area, and we had to have calculators. And when I was in the 5th form or year 11, those calculators cost $108, which doesn't seem much nowadays, but my dad was earning $115 a week as a tradesman. He was a quite well-paid tradesman, so it was a big chunk of salary to get out. So nothing much has changed in education. I think the technology is getting cheaper. I guess in our community, because of the socio-economic status of our community, it's more a case of I have to buy a $400 or $500 device, whether it's a Samsung or an iPad. That was going to be my big flat screen TV, or that was going to be my trip to Fiji. You know, it's not about scraping the money together. Most people have got that money or can find that money.
Do you have any ideas of your own options? So instead of that, it's got to fit into a $12,000 budget. you have
So
any-
if I had $12,000
Yeah, so-
budget to spend on students, what would I spend it on?
Yeah, just, students, teachers, what just help the education in general.
In general? I probably would go down the furniture in the classroom. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
the school pays for the professional development of the teachers. We've got spare machines and things in the library that we can lend out to students that can't afford them, so I don't think we need to buy those. So I'd probably go for the classroom furniture.
Yeah, so you just, oh, yep. So, and I think that's all we have. So thank you for your time.
Alright, you're welcome.